Simon & Schuster Audio presents Star Trek Transformations, a Captain Sulu adventure. Written by Dave Stern. Starring George Takei as Captain Sulu, with Dana Ivey as Dr. Constance Allenwood, and Daniel Gerald as Commander Flynn Connor.
Stardate 11611.8. Personal log. Captain Hikaru Sulu aboard the courier ship Nelson. I'm en route to Clarion 7, where I will represent Starfleet at the inaugural ceremonies honoring that world's new, freely elected government. Diplomatic work certainly does have its advantages. Usage of the ship, for one. The Nelson is an experimental one-person shuttlecraft capable of reaching speeds up to Warp 5. Its computer interface is a prototype for a new kind of ship's operating system with multipurpose, user-configurable panels. I can control any function, navigation, communications, engineering, directly from the single console next to my chair. Adapted for use aboard a starship, this will enable any command-level officer to assume total control of the craft's functions. The technology is another step forward into the future. And yet, more and more, I find myself looking not toward the future, but to the past. I've just returned from the medical facility at Starbase 21. I go there as often as my work allows to see my former science officer, Flynn Connor. I try not to let those visits depress me, because I can't help but contrast the image of Flynn as he is now, sitting silently by a window, eyes raised to the stars outside, with the officer I knew and served with aboard the Excelsior. Though physically he seems unchanged, tall, thin, dark hair, sharp features, he hasn't spoken a word in almost 20 years. Despite the best medical treatment available, the newest technologies, and the finest doctors, Flynn has never recovered from what happened to him on Sigma Cameron 4. Was this visit responsible for my dream last night? A dream in which I returned to Sigma Cameron 4 with the landing party from the Excelsior, Dr. Jedikon, Chief O'Sullivan, Lieutenant Benai, and Flynn Connor. The five of us stand at the base of a huge mountain of sand, big enough to bury a starship. Sigma Cameron 4 is a desert world, a hot, dry, desolate place. Whatever life once existed here has long since vanished. Flynn points at a gap about 4 feet wide in the side of the mountain before us.
We've used a field generator to force our way straight through the mountain. The tunnel begins here,
he says, stepping forward.
I'm going in?
No, I say. You'll stay right here. That's a direct order. I am determined. I will not let history repeat itself. Flynn shakes his head, a wistful smile crossing his face.
It's too late, Captain. Come with me.
And he walks into the tunnel, disappearing from view. I follow him in. Instantly, I'm bathed in a muted orange glow. The energy from the field generator. The energy that keeps the walls and the ceiling from collapsing, and this mountain of sand from falling down on us.
This way, Captain, Flynn calls out from ahead of me. We're almost there.
I move closer, but still, I have trouble identifying what lies ahead. Something, the size of a shuttlecraft, but with a rounded outline. A boulder, a rock of some kind. I step closer and see it is a rock, but there are things growing out of it,
a tangled, root-like fungus branching out all over the boulder, all around us. I walk around the boulder. The surface of the rock is pitted with dozens of small craters, and sitting on top is a glowing orb of what looks like red glass. "Pick it up," Flynn says. I extend my hands slowly towards it, drawing closer. 2 feet, a foot, 6 inches, but I sense something and draw back. Intelligence. Impossibly different, impossibly alien. "Don't be afraid," Flynn says, but the sense of evil is palpable, overbearing. I cannot stay in this place, and I force myself awake.
Personal log. I'm back aboard the Nelson. The air is stale and I'm sweating. I am no longer nostalgic for the past. I am scared of it. For 20 years, I've tried to forget the Shalakai and what happened on Sigma Cameron 4. What happened to Flynn Connor, my science officer, and my friend. To hear his voice again, even in a dream, brings those memories flooding back.
Personal log, stardate 9612.0. Commander Flynn Connor, recording aboard the USS Excelsior. Now into my 3rd week as science officer aboard this ship, and I believe some conclusions can be drawn at this point. The captain has staffed my department with some first-rate people. I'm particularly impressed with a microbiologist named Benai. She's not as up in current theory as I would like, but is very capable in the field. Despite my initial skepticism, it appears that there is some truth to the rumors regarding the empire that once ruled this part of the galaxy, a race called the Shalakai. We have discovered evidence on 2 worlds, both formerly Class M life-bearing, both now radioactive deserts, of the great rebellion that both ended their empire and forced them to withdraw from the known galaxy. Using soil samples from those 2 worlds, Benai has dated that cataclysmic event to approximately 2,000 years ago. Interesting note, her own race has some particularly colorful tales regarding the Shalakai. They called them soul eaters, a phrase whose meaning has unfortunately vanished, along with any physical proof of their existence. The stories have persisted nonetheless, fueled by rumor and a few scattered references in the Vulcan archives. Legend also has it that they were a race of immortals. If so, as the first starship to venture this deep into the quadrant, perhaps we will discover the Shalakai themselves.
Personal communique. Constance Allenwood aboard the cruiser Rattan to Doreen Allenwood. So he said they were the ravings of an old woman? That anyone who actually thought there was some truth to those old legends was fooling themselves? Well, when Dr. Latour has been an archaeologist as long as I have, when he's won the awards that I have, when he's gotten the respect of his peers that I have, well, that's when he'll have the right to criticize me. I may not be as active in the field as I once was, but there is nothing wrong with my mind whatsoever. He's just jealous that he didn't have the guts to get out here himself. Latour's always been one of those archaeologists who thinks you can sit back in your lab coat and just analyze the results from a dig. Afraid to get his hands dirty is what he is. What is it exactly I'm looking for out here? It's kind of a trade secret, Dory, but you are my granddaughter, so I don't suppose you'll spread it all over the galaxy. You'll recall that lot of artifacts I purchased last year from the Vegan Traders Guild. Buried among all the useless coins and malfunctioning electronics was a holo recorder that must have belonged to one of that trader's ancestors. It was quite old, and most of the clips were degraded beyond rescue. But one of them, it was of a trading outpost, just 10 or 15 seconds long. 2 Vegans were sitting at a table, talking. It's impossible that it could be the same person, one said. It's been over 500 years. The other shook his head. Retinal patterns don't lie. They're as individual as fingerprints. You know the rumors about the Shalakai. Immortality. This is the proof, and I've got it. The other one nodded, and then the images faded. There you have it, Dory. Can you imagine? Immortality is a pipe dream, of course. No matter how many organs you replace, deterioration of the brain tissue and decay of the associated electromagnetic fields is inevitable. You see that among longer-lived races like the Vulcans, diseases such as Bendy's syndrome and the like. But you know what they say, behind every legend, there's always a little bit of scientific truth. I begin excavations tomorrow. I can't tell you what I'll find, but I'm sure it will be something interesting, something to justify an old woman's ravings. I'll keep you posted. Out.
Stardate 11610.9. Captain Hikaru Sulu aboard the courier ship Nelson to Thomas Wilkerson, Starfleet Command. Tom, I have an informal request of you, which you should feel free to deny if you think I'm imposing on our relationship in any way. It's nothing that violates Federation code, you understand. I'm simply looking for information. Can you tell me, have any Starfleet vessels recently been assigned to the Sigma Cameron system? Or are there any other ships that may be heading in that direction? It's important that I find out, though I can't tell you why just yet. Thanks. Sulu out.
Personal communique to Doreen Allenwood. I watched the holodisc of Much Ado About Nothing you sent me last night. Very entertaining. You have a good feel for drama, not to mention that you're a very beautiful young woman. Definitely an Allenwood. If you look at some of my old holodiscs, you'll know exactly what I mean. In my day and all that. I'm sure you could have a very rich and fulfilling life as an actor. Still, you should think about Starfleet again. God knows it's the one regret in my life that I never went to the Academy. Of course, by the time I was 19, I was at Vega 10, working with Beaster and Soltz on the Rosetta Project, and had little interest in flitting about the galaxy. I suppose that's why I'm doing this now. But if you have the science aptitude your parents say you do, then it would be a waste not to at least consider Starfleet. My opinion. Don't tell your father I said that. Even if he agrees, he'll accuse me of meddling again. All right, enough about you. Have you looked at the material on the planet I've passed along? I've decided that although there are many promising areas, I'm going to concentrate my efforts on that same region Starfleet found so interesting 20 years ago. Get out the hollows I passed along and pull up the one detailing Sector Alpha 19. Yes, I know it's desert, but so is almost everything else on this world. What really interests me is the incredible array of chemical compounds my sensors picked up. Most of those compounds seem to be concentrated in a large mound off to the right of the picture. The tell, as they would have called it back on Earth, in the days when archaeology was considered a romantic profession. The days of Schliemann and Troy, the pyramids, King Tut's tomb. That's all for now, Dory. Stay in touch.
Personal Communique, Stardate 11612.7. Confidential and scrambled. Captain Hikaru Sulu aboard the courier ship Nelson to Ambassador Sarek, Vulcan Embassy, Earth. Ambassador, 4 days ago, Starfleet monitoring stations picked up a private research vessel, the Rattan, heading toward the Sigma Cameron system. The Rattan is registered to Dr. Constance Allenwood of Alpha Centauri, one of the Federation's most respected archaeologists. Her destination is listed as Sigma Cameron 4. She has no doubt arrived there by now. Dr. Allenwood's visit has attracted little attention from Starfleet authorities, and would attract none from me were it not for the terrible secrets we two know that world holds, and the dreams I have had these last 2 nights. Personal log, stardate 11612.4. For the 2nd night in a row, my sleep has been troubled. These dreams can no longer be considered coincidence or simple nostalgia for the past. Last night, I returned to Sigma Cameron 4. Again, I stand next to Flynn Connor. Before us, the orb sits, glowing red in the dim light. Please, Captain, pick up the orb. This is the only way you'll understand. Please. A look of desperation crosses his face. This time, I reach out beyond my fear and pick up the orb. And the world around me changes.
I'm standing in a jungle. An alien jungle of gold and bronze, the sun warm on my brow. Before me stands a figure out of legend, tall and thin, golden skin stretched taut over angular features. I have never seen him before, and yet, instantly, I know who he is. Counselor Zahn, ruler of the Shalakai, the leader who presided over that long-vanished empire's rise and fall. Captain Sulu. He takes a step toward me. We meet at last. I draw back instinctively. My mouth is dry. I am terrified of him. I know you, Zahn, I say. You are a murderer. He shakes his head. You do not know me at all, Captain. But you will. Then he laughs. And I... will know you. He stares at me then, challenging me with his eyes. I return his glare. I am a Starfleet officer. I will show no fear. But his eyes, so intense, so black, I feel as if I'm falling into them. Suddenly, he's in my mind, and I feel pain far more intense than anything I have ever experienced before. How can I explain it? I feel as if I'm being forced out of my own body. All I hear is Flynn Connor's voice. Beware, Captain. Beware. Beware. Beware, Captain. Beware. Beware. Beware, Captain. Beware. 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 Beware, Captain. Beware. Beware, Captain. Beware. Beware.
I wake, exhausted. The quiet of space surrounds me. I'm back aboard the Nelson. Yet, I can't shake that sense of evil lurking nearby. Was that really Counselor Zahn, the ruler of the Shalakai? Why am I dreaming of him? And Flynn, to hear his voice again. It's as if time had reversed course, and I am back aboard the Excelsior, listening to him report from the surface of Sigma Cameron 4. In that moment, we discovered the first concrete proof of the Shalakai's existence.
Science Officer's log, stardate 9619.9, command of Flynn Connor recording from the surface of Sigma Cameron 4. As our census survey had indicated, this world is almost completely desert. Readings do indicate significant concentrations of artificial compounds scattered beneath the planet's surface, consistent with the presence of civilization. We're concentrating our attention on one area in particular, a a huge mound of sand which sensors indicate masks some sort of artificial structure. Using a field generator, we've dug our way halfway into the mound where we've discovered the remains of some kind of building. This structure is composed of dozens of small, one-celled chambers. Sleeping quarters, most likely. I'm standing in one of those chambers now. The wall facing me is covered by a thin, transparent membrane behind which flashing lights in every color of the rainbow filter through in a random, timing pattern. Sensors indicate the presence of dozens, perhaps even hundreds, of electromagnetic energy fields behind this membrane, all with a very identifiable lattice structure. My guess is that the membrane was built as a containment device to prevent the lattices from degenerating. Is this some kind of computer? Artwork? A living creature? Many questions. No answers yet. Connor out.
Personal log. What I am about to do breaks every regulation in the book, and yet I cannot dismiss the impending sense of danger that these dreams have given me. I have made my decision. I'm going to Sigma Cameron 4. The echoes are too loud, too insistent for me to ignore. My nightmares parallel too strongly Flynn Connor's own dreams from 20 years ago. I have forced myself to listen to his personal logs again. The logs to which only I and Ambassador Sarek have had access.
Personal log. Stardate 9620.9. Command of Flynn Connor recording. Had a very unusual dream last night. Doubly unusual because the details stayed with me even after I woke up this morning. It's extraordinary. The images are still with me now, hours later. It's less like a dream than a memory of something I actually experienced. I'm standing in the middle of a dense forest. Huge trees tower above me, slender and green, each limb sprouting a dozen golden leaves, each leaf fully a foot long. The air is thick, high humidity. It feels like slightly lighter than Earth normal gravity. Barely visible through the canopy of trees overhead, I can see the sun, a reddish gold disk hanging in a sky of deep maroon. I don't recognize this world at all. Where am I? The underbrush to my right rustles. Someone is approaching. I turn in time to see a man step through the underbrush and face me. No, not a man. Not Terran, although humanoid, golden skin, tall, almost cadaverously thin, wearing a long, flowing red cloak. He looks at me a moment, and then he speaks. Flynn Connor. How do you know my name? Who are you? The stranger smiles, lines creasing his face, and I suddenly realize how old he is. I am sorry if I startled you, Commander. My name is Zan. I am a scientist, much like yourself. And as for how I know who you are, I know everything about you. Where you were born, your career in Starfleet, your discoveries, your desires. I shake my head. How? Take a leap of faith with me, Commander, Zan says. Accept for the moment that I know what I know. I nod, fascinated. Excellent, Zan says. He stares at me intently now with deep-set, cold black eyes. You are a rare person, Commander, one in hundreds, I would say, even among those who serve in Starfleet. I shake my head. I don't understand. You have a higher calling. You are a true disciple. a disciple of science. You have studied its secrets for your entire lifetime, journeyed across the galaxy to solve its mysteries, and yet your hunger for knowledge rages on unquenched. He pauses a moment and then pulls a golden leaf off the branch next to him. What would you say if I told you I could satisfy that hunger beyond your wildest dreams? I study him a moment. His question touches a chord in me. I have spent my life trying to figure out how the universe works, and yet there is still so much more to know. How, I ask him, how would you satisfy that hunger? Here. He holds out the leaf to me. Take this, and I will show you. I hesitate a moment. Something in his words, the way he says them, makes me feel scared. And yet, this is the adventure we seek out as Starfleet officers. I have an obligation as a scientist to continue this dialogue, yet I'm not sure this is really happening. Take it. Zahn is holding the leaf out to me. I draw in a deep breath, and before I can change my mind, grab it from his hand, and suddenly my perception expands. I sense the world around me through the grass underneath my feet, the creatures in flight above the jungle, its sounds, its sights, its smells. Even more, I know how it works. Cellular processes, chemical reactions, even down to the molecular level. This is your dream, is it not, Commander? I hear Zahn's voice. And then suddenly, I am back in the jungle, standing next to him. The leaf is back in my hand. For a second you existed as I do now, pure consciousness devoid of form. You merged with this leaf. He drops the leaf to the ground. I nod blankly, still stunned, barely hearing his words. Is this a dream? I wonder suddenly. It can be your reality, he says. How? I ask. What do I have to do? He smiles again. There, he nods. I look down. A reddish orb lies at my feet. Pick it up. Pick it up. Make your dream real. Pick it up. 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 And make your dream real. I look up again. But Zahn is gone, and I am alone in the jungle.
Personal communique, stardate 11613.6. Captain Hikaru Sulu aboard the courier ship Nelson to Dr. Constance Allenwood. Doctor, first of all, let me say that it's a great pleasure to communicate with you. Though I'm not an archaeologist myself, I have followed and appreciated your work over the last several decades, particularly as it relates to some of the discoveries you've made on Starfleet's behalf. I'm not approaching you now as a Starfleet officer, however. What I have to say to you has to do with the Shalakai ruins on Sigma Cameron 4, which I know you're just beginning to explore. I cannot tell you in any more definitive way. This is a dangerous place. You must be extremely careful, especially with what you touch. Please keep me posted on your progress, and let me know of any occurrences that seem to you unusual, no matter how trivial they may be. Sulu out.
Personal diary, stardate 11613.9. Bloody Starfleet. Always so sure that they're the only ones for the job, no matter what job it is, as if I haven't been doing this sort of thing my whole life. Listen to me. I sound like some cranky old woman. I'd better take a tranquilizer and get some sleep. Had a very strange dream last night. Can't remember many details, but I do recall one image very clearly. I'm at a party of some kind, dancing with a tall, golden-skinned man in a dark red cloak. And I was young again, no more than Dory's age, 25 or 26. God, it felt incredible to be able to move like that. Well, I want to get an early start on the dig tomorrow. Going to bed now. Allenwood out.
Personal log, stardate 11614.4, aboard the courier ship Nelson. So far, I've managed to fend off Starfleet's inquiries as to why I will be delayed reaching Clarion 7. I can hardly tell them the truth, that even now I am pushing the ship's modified engine to its limits, straining to reach Sigma Cameron 4 as quickly as possible. I am truly impressed with the job Starfleet's engineers have done on the Nelson. Barring any complications, I should be at my destination within 48 hours. I do find this ship lacking in one regard, however. There is no room to exercise. There are controls to retract the seat, but even then, I barely have room to stand and stretch. And what I really want to do, as silly as it may sound, is practice my fencing skills. I cannot believe it's been over a year since I last drew a foil. How could I have let so much time go by? Back at the academy, I would practice every day for at least an hour. Flynn Connor was practically the only person there to congratulate me that day I won the all-around trophy. Our last year there, we really didn't see each other much. Our interests had diverged, taking us in different directions. I didn't think he even knew that I fenced. I certainly didn't know that he did. When he came aboard Excelsior, we made it a point to schedule a match at least once a week. Is that when I stopped practicing? When Flynn and I stopped having those matches? No matter. I've made a promise to myself to begin honing those skills again as soon as this mission is over.
There. Recording levels should be all right now. Hello, Dory. Listen to that wind, won't you? The atmospherics here are unbelievable. Gusts of up to 70 kph. One of the supply tents got blown over during the night. Anyway, let me set the scene for you. I'm standing about 20 yards away from the sensor array, which is set up directly on top of that large mound of earth, the TEL. The array's been working all night and has given me a pretty clear picture of what's buried in there, something the Excelsior crew must have missed 20 years ago. Maybe they just didn't have the right tool for the job. Top layer of the TEL is dirt, common minerals, some biological debris, and pretty recent stuff. which means that somewhere on this planet there's still life. Right underneath that come the parts I'm interested in. First is a layer of organic debris mixed in with a lot of ash. Must have been a big fire, or some other kind of catastrophe, dating back 2,000 years, right when the Shalakai disappeared. Lots of inorganic debris scattered about this layer as well. Artifacts of their civilization, hopefully. Probably their garbage dump. Right under that is a huge structure of some kind, still largely intact, very oddly shaped, built right around a huge boulder, roughly the size of a Federation shuttlecraft. Getting some very strange readings off that rock. The sensors are unable to identify any of the minerals it's composed of. I'm passing on a computer-generated cross-sectional image of the tell so you can see all this in black and white. Actually, infrared. I'm starting to dig now, going after those anomalies in the second layer. This could be my biggest find yet, Dory. I'll keep you posted. Out. Personal log, stardate 11614.19. This is the latest I've stayed up in quite some time. The digging probes are about 10 feet away from reaching that oddly shaped structure. I picked up signs of some electromagnetic radiation coming from it, unable to identify the precise type or source right now. But the probes should be there in, another 5 or 6 hours. There's something strange about this place. A creepy kind of atmosphere. I feel a little spooked. Something about that dream last night is still bothering me, too. It's almost enough to make me want to go to sleep aboard the Rattan for the evening. But I want to be down here as soon as the digging probes reach that object. In the meantime, I'll be reviewing Commander Connor's logs, the few I was able to wrestle out of the Starfleet archivists. I don't know why they were so sensitive about giving me access to this material. Something is fishy here. First, I discover that tunnel, something that the Excelsior's logs conveniently forgot to mention, and then there's everyone's reluctance to talk about what happened to Flynn Connor. Maybe these logs will give me some clue.
Science Officer's log, stardate 9621.8. Commander Flynn Connor reporting from the surface of Sigma Cameron 4. Beginning our second day of explorations. The tunnel we began yesterday is almost complete and... hold on 1 minute. And I've found something inside one of the chambers. Don't touch that. Wait for the anti-grav devices. My God. My God, the orb from my dream, it exists. It's real. I have to go. Connor out. Personal log, stardate 9622.2. My lord, I'm scared. I am actually sweating. All right, get a hold of yourself, Flynn. The details. The details are as follows. I've just awoken from another dream. A dream of...
Hold on, what's happened here? There has to be more on the tape than that. That's it. That's all that's on here. I want to know those details. What was that orb, Flynn Connor? What did you dream? What is it that Starfleet doesn't want me to know about? From all the effort Captain Sulu put into hiding these records, I must be getting close to something good.
Personal log, stardate 11615.14. Captain Hikaru Sulu aboard the courier ship Nelson. Levy's maelstrom is just visible outside my port side window. A whirlwind of tiny, continuous stellar explosions, famous for not just the spectacular light show it produces, but the low-end harmonics it generates. I've turned on the external sensors to listen to those sounds. I'm in need of distraction. I'm very worried. I haven't heard from Dr. Allenwood in almost 3 days. I'm trying to remain optimistic, yet I'm haunted by this sense of impending doom. The sense that I'm about to relive the horror of 20 years ago, when they beamed Flynn back from Sigma Cameron 4. If only he'd told me about the dreams he'd been having.
Personal log stardate 9622.2. My lord, I'm scared. I'm actually sweating. All right, get a hold of yourself, Flynn. The details are as follows. I have just woken from a nightmare. The images are still so vivid in my mind, it feels like I'm remembering something I actually experienced than recalling a dream. I'm in the alien jungle again. Zahn stands directly opposite me. You found the orb, but you have not touched it yet. Why? His tone is brusque, angry. I respond in kind. Because I don't understand what it is, but picking it up will do. You have experienced what it will do. It will transform you, enable you to learn things you have dreamed of knowing all your life, to go places you thought forever unreachable. You will live out your dreams. His eagerness, his excitement is palpable. All you need to do is pick up the orb. I frown. Why are you so anxious to help me fulfill my dreams? What do you get in return? What do I get in return? Zahn looks furious, and his anger passes. You asked me what I would get, Commander. Now I will tell you. The orb that you found contains my consciousness. Touch it, and you will set me free to join the others, to join with my fellow Shalakai whose lives have long since ended. That is my dream. I nod. And suddenly, the orb is there on the ground before me, and I find myself bending forward, reaching towards it. I try to stop, but Zahn, he is in my mind, controlling my every movement. Stop! I managed to say, squeezing the word out between clenched teeth. Please! The pain is incredible, like a vice squeezing my temples together. It feels as if I am being forced out of my own body. I can control this entire world as easily as I do you, Commander. His voice is in my head again, insistent, angry. This jungle is just a construct, a convenience I provided for you. One I can take away just like that. And suddenly, the jungle is gone. There's no Zahn. There's no anything, just endless, formless, gray void. There is no air. I cannot breathe. Consciousness is slipping away. I hear Zahn's voice again coming from all around me. The orb. 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 everything is going black. And I sit up in bed aboard the Excelsior, still gasping for breath, scared half out of my mind. What's happening to me? Can any of this be real? There's no scientific basis for the fear I feel. I know I should talk to the captain about this, but not before I obtain more data. Not before I return to the planet's surface one last time and take detailed sensor readings of the orb. Science Officer's Log, Stardate 9622.4. Commander Flynn Connor, recording from the surface of Sigma Cameron 4. I've used anti-gravity clamps to lift the orb off the ground and place it on top of a nearby rock. Beginning analysis now. I chased everyone out of here so quickly this morning we didn't get a chance to take any sensor readings at all. I'm getting it now. It's crystal, chemical composition, standard minerals, no exotic elements, nothing out of the ordinary, no energy readings of any kind. It couldn't all have been a dream, could it? Zahn was so real, so convincing. I suppose I know the answer to that. I feel like a fool. I should have known better. The very idea of trying to even define consciousness, much less contain it in an orb. I'm going to pick it up now. I have to set down the recorder first. There. It's done. I'm holding the orb. It's cooler than I expected, much cooler than the air around it. Smooth to the touch, too, like glass, highly polished. Probably some kind of ornament or... Wait a minute. Something's happening. The orb is glowing. It's getting warmer in my hands. I can sense someone. It's Zahn. He's really here. He's in the orb. This is incredible. I can hear his voice. I can... No! 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 Let me go! Let me go! No! No! I won't let you! Captain! He lies! He lies!
Personal log, stardate 11615.8 aboard the courier ship Nelson. I flash back to the ghastly image of Flynn Connor as they beamed him back from the planet's surface. Flynn was alive, but he'd suffered a massive neuromuscular convulsion. His mind had literally short-circuited. Perhaps he would recover tomorrow, or in 5 years, or never. I went to his cabin and listened to the recordings he'd made on the planet's surface, and then to his personal logs. And the more I heard, the more convinced I became that what happened to him had less to do with any neuromuscular convulsion than with the Shalakai he'd met in his dreams. Counselor Zahn. Could Zahn have been real? Was the kind of immortality he promised Flynn attainable? I was no expert on electromagnetic lattices or concepts like the Katra, but I knew someone who was. I contacted Ambassador Sarek of Vulcan and told him everything that happened. The ambassador's response was brief and to the point. The threat Counselor Zahn and the Shalakai posed was all too real. I ordered my crew to immediately cease exploration of the planet's ruins and seal up the tunnel that the landing party had made along with the orb. Only the ambassador and I ever heard Flynn's logs. For 20 years, we kept their contents secret, for fear that someone else might repeat Flynn Connor's journey. 24 hours away from Sigma Cameron 4 now. Please, let me find nothing wrong when I get there.
Oh, damn it. Where is that light? There, that's better. Personal log. 4 o'clock in the morning here. And I've just awoken from a very strange, disorienting experience. A dream, but one unlike any other I've ever had. I stand in a jungle, strange-looking trees all around me, with thin trunks and long swaying branches. The air is thick and moist, as if it had been raining only a few minutes ago. Dr. Alan Wood? The voice comes from behind me, and I turn. A man is standing there. How do you know my name? I ask. I know everything about you, Dr. Alan Wood. Constance. He's trying to be charming, which is something I generally don't like. I look at him again. You're not human. No, I am Shalakai, Counselor Zahn. He bows slightly. His skin is the color of copper, maybe gold, and he's very thin, too thin, something even the long red cloak he wears can't disguise. He looks familiar, but it takes a moment before I recognize him. You were in my dream last night, Counselor. That's right, Doctor. And now you are in my world. How do you feel? That's a strange question to ask. And then I stop myself, because the way I feel is different. I'm younger. I look down at my hands. The wrinkles, the age spots, they're all gone. I have energy, so much more than I am used to. I feel as if I could do anything I wanted, for as long as I wanted. It's been so long since I felt this way. You could feel that way all the time, Doctor. Oh, really? I ask. You can turn back time? No, but I can preserve it. And suddenly, the jungle is gone, and we're in a small, windowless room, barely big enough for the two of us to stand in. Facing me is a wall, covered by a transparent membrane of some sort. Behind it, I can see lights flashing. What is this? You spoke of regrets before, Doctor. Opportunities you let pass by to pursue your dream of being an archaeologist. Opportunities such as joining Starfleet. We only get one life to live, Counselor, I tell him. I'm pretty happy with the one I have. Of course you are. But there are others. Thousands upon thousands of them. Here, he says, let me show you. And before I can stop him, he grabs my hand and thrusts it into the membrane. I feel it rip like a thin coating of plastic, and then I feel a sudden jolt, like a minor electrical shock. And all at once, I am someplace else. I am someone else. I'm sitting in the command chair on the bridge of an alien vessel. No, not alien. To me, this ship, its crew, its technology, are as familiar as the back of my own hand. I am this ship's commander, but I am still Alan Wood as well. Suddenly the ship around me is gone, and I am myself again. Constance Alan Wood, standing back in the jungle beside Counselor Zahn. What happened to me? I ask, still dazed. You merged with another life, with another consciousness. You could have remained there for as long as you desired, Doctor. And in the world outside, no time would have passed. He smiles. I cannot make you young, but I can give you the next best thing. 1,000,000 new lives to lead. He takes a step towards me. I want to help you. I hadn't noticed before how intense his stare was. And I want you to help me. I want you to find that for me, he says, pointing down at the ground. At his feet lies a reddish-colored orb. Find it and pick it up. That seems like a lopsided deal, I tell him. What makes that orb so valuable? Zan smiles. Does it matter? I shake my head. Not really. This is all a dream, anyway. I feel myself beginning to awaken now. All right, you've got a deal, Counselor. You find me 1,000,000 lives to live, and I'll find you the orb. Make sure you do, he says, his words fading away. He suddenly sounds deadly serious, which scares me a little bit. And that's when I woke up. I don't think I'll sleep again tonight. Strange dream. From now on, I'll sleep on board the Rattan. And I don't go on digs like this one alone anymore. Personal communique. Dr. Constance Allenwood to Doreen Allenwood. Good morning, Dory. It's literally the crack of dawn here, and I'm down at the dig site, scooting around to see what the probes found during the night. Let's see what's in the collection chambers. Must have been a lot of wind again last night. There's equipment scattered all over the site. Here we are. Now, they're pretty full up. A lot of empty fuel storage devices. Something that looks like jewelry or another kind of decorative art. Now this is getting spooky. It's the orb from my dream last night, or at least a damn good copy. Should I pick it up? That's what the counselor told me to do in the dream. Oh, sorry, Dory, you don't even know what I'm talking about, do you? I guess I'll have to explain it later. It does sound silly. Here goes nothing. It's lighter than I would have expected from looking at it. Maybe it's hollow inside. Have to take some readings of it. Hold on. Am I going crazy, or is this thing getting warmer? I'm going to...
Captain Hikaru Sulu aboard the courier ship Nelson to Dr. Constance Allenwood aboard the Rattan. Doctor, please make sure your communications array is activated. I need to speak with you immediately. Doctor, please activate your communications array. Damn it! Personal communique, stardate 11616.8. Confidential and scrambled. Captain Hikaru Sulu on Sigma Cameron 4 to Ambassador Sarek, Vulcan Embassy, Earth. You will see from the recorded logs I'm enclosing with this transmission that the situation is as desperate as I had feared. I'm standing 20 feet away from Dr. Allenwood, who was sitting on a work chair near the site, her hands clutched around a reddish-colored orb, her head leaned back, her eyes wide with terror. It's the same orb that Flynn found, the one that contains the katra of Counselor Zahn. My course of action is clear, sir. If you do not hear back from me within 12 hours, Starfleet must be informed. If I don't speak to you again, sir, it has been an honor knowing you. Sulu out.
Personal log, stardate 11616.9. Captain Hikaru Sulu recording. I'm setting my tricorder on the ground here next to me and leaving it on to record what happens next. I plan to take the orb away from Dr. Ellenwood. I do not know what will happen when I do. I will try to keep talking, to keep recording what is happening to me. It may be important. If anyone finds this recording, please bring it immediately to the attention of Starfleet or Ambassador Sarek of Vulcan. I am ready. I do not know what is happening to Dr. Ellenwood's mind, what is happening to her on the unconscious level, and I don't want to hurt her by wrenching the orb away suddenly. I will place my hands on it gently first and try to ease it out of her grasp. I am touching the orb. It is warm, almost hot against my skin. I sense something. A struggle. The orb is glowing now, hotter than before. Dr. Ellenwood lies on the ground, still and unmoving. Zahn is standing over her. He looks at me and laughs.
Your timing is impeccable, Captain. I congratulate you.
What happened to Dr. Ellenwood?
Her body was too weak to survive the entrance of my mental being.
Soul Eater! I say, comprehension dawning. You steal the bodies of others. You kill their souls to allow yours to survive a little bit longer. Zahn only stares.
I make no apologies. It is the law of nature. The strong survive, and you, Captain, will enable me to survive for a long while indeed. I have to thank you. Instead of having an old woman's body, I will have that of a Starfleet officer in prime condition.
You'll have to take it from me first, I say with all the bravado I can muster. Yet my confidence sounds forced, even to my own ear.
Very well. Shall we duel for it? I know you wanted a chance to practice your fencing.
And suddenly, we're each holding a foil. Zahn flexes his and then touches the point.
You'll notice these have no safety tips. The first touch wins.
We take our places then, facing each other. I feel strangely clumsy, suddenly out of shape, out of place.
On guard.
Zahn charges, thrusting forward furiously. I barely have time to block his attack, and then I'm on my heels, being driven backwards.
I will enjoy having your body, Captain. And I make you this promise. I will not forget to keep my fencing skills in practice.
As he finishes speaking, I switch position and try an attack of my own. The move is awkward, and Zahn easily counters it. I step back again and stumble. I hear the clash of metal on metal. Suddenly, my foil is flying out of my hand. It lands in the jungle, in the underbrush, much too far away for me to think about retrieving it.
You lose, Captain, Zahn says, staring down at me. By the terms of our agreement, I now claim the right to possess your body.
And now, I feel him in my mind. Feel myself drifting away, drifting out of my body. I cannot stop him. Zahn will win. How did this happen? I lost so easily, so quickly. It's never happened to me before in my entire life. It can't be real. But there is no reality. Zahn controls every detail of this dream. I remember what he told Flynn.
This world is not real. It is a construct I create for your convenience.
A construct, I realize, not reality. Zahn looks down at me, puzzlement crossing his features.
Die. I shake my head and draw in a deep breath. No! I am getting stronger now. I am not the one who's going to die today, Counselor.
And saying that, I stand, driving him out of my mind. I feel no pain. How could I? This is not reality. I feel nothing at all.
I will have your body, Captain. You cannot deny me.
But I do, I say. And before he can react, I twist the foil in his hand and drive it into his body. He gasps once and sinks to his knees. A look of horror crosses his face, and suddenly, the jungle around me is gone. I'm standing in the desert again, on Sigma Cameron 4. 10 feet away from me, Dr. Allenwood is on her knees, rocking back and forth. And at my feet, the orb sits. Once reddish-colored, it is now pitch black. Counselor Zahn is dead.
Personal communique to Doreen Allenwood. I'm packing up camp here, Dory. For reasons I can't really go into now, I've agreed with Captain Sulu's request not to explore the ruins here any further. But it's not as bad as it sounds. My research is taking me to Starbase 21 to meet with one Flynn Connor, the science officer from the Excelsior who was injured at this very site 20 years ago. Dory, there's been a miracle. He's suddenly, overnight, returned to normal. His recovery has shocked every medical expert from here straight to the Romulan border. And guess who's responsible? That's right, your grandma, right in the thick of things. I'm telling you, Dory, that's real drama. Anyway, got to get to Starbase 21 and find out all I can about Sigma Cameron 4. Flynn Connor and I have a lot to talk about. Now you take care and let me hear from you real soon. Grandma out.
Personal communique, stardate 11618.2. Flynn Connor at Starbase 21 to Captain Hikaru Sulu aboard the courier ship Nelson. The doctors here won't let me talk long, Captain. I just wanted to say thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing you, sir. I'm looking forward to talking with you, sir. Connor out.
Personal communique, stardate 11617.9. Confidential and scrambled. Captain Hikaru Sulu aboard the courier ship Nelson to Ambassador Sarek, Vulcan Embassy, Earth. I am en route to Clarion 7. The crisis on Sigma Cameron 4 has been resolved. Counselor Zahn is dead. Dr. Allenwood and I have destroyed the orb and sealed up the ruins again. And now for the really good news. Flynn Connor is well and whole again. Zahn was unable to gain control of Flynn's body 20 years ago, but in the struggle, he did capture Flynn's soul, his katra, if you will, sir. It was Flynn who sent me the dreams, trying to warn me of the danger Dr. Allenwood was creating. With Zahn's death, Flynn's soul was released, set free to reunite with his body. I'm not sure I entirely understand what happened. Perhaps you can explain it to me better at some later date. The important thing is that after 20 years, I've got my fencing partner back. Live long and prosper, sir. Sulu out.